because there are three of us. I'm Annette Lawler, and I'm with Purdue Extension here in Harrison County, where we're filming, and I do health and human sciences and community development. And my partners here today are
Gail Heitzmeyer, Crawford County.
Sonia Mitchell, Washington County. Okay, so the three of us today are going to take you through how to have a safe holiday meal preparation and service to help in these COVID times. And so first, we're going to turn the camera over to Sonia, and she's going to show proper hand washing. And the reason we do this is a recent poll showed that over 90% of people don't wash their hands on a regular basis. And that's not good anytime, and definitely not good during COVID.
All right, I know many of you know that you got to wash your hands for a 20-second minimum, and maybe you've been singing happy birthday 2 times to say in the Pledge of Allegiance. But I also want to let you know that there's an app, a website called washyourlyrics.com, and you can plug in any song you want, and it will give you a infographic showing you the lyrics and the motions to washing your hands. So all you Beatle fans out there, forgive me, and I'm sorry you're having to live through my singing, but here we go. All right. So in the town where I was born, lived a man who sailed the sea, and he told us of his life in the land of submarines. So we sailed into the sun till we found the sea of green, and we lived beneath the waves in a yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine, yellow submarine. Thank you.
Okay, so now we know what proper hand washing looks like and how long it takes. And that's really important. We can't just rinse our fingers and think we're okay. And there are other safety things we have to be concerned about. And one of them is sanitizing. I have a food safe surface sanitizing cleanser here and a cloth. So before starting, we have this countertop. It was sanitized, and then I sanitized the tablecloth. And of course, all of our equipment was sanitized before we used it, including the cutting boards and everything else that we have here. And so you want to make sure that you have that everything sanitary, because you don't want to have any bacteria of any kind laying around to get into your food. Part of food safety is controlling the growth of harmful bacteria. So, let's talk about pets in the kitchen. Come on over here. Let's talk about pets in the kitchen.
Glad to. So pets are something, when we get ready to prepare a meal, that we need to have out of the kitchen, and we need to sanitize all surfaces before we begin cooking if you have pets in your home, because hair can get everywhere. And also if you have cats, there's a tendency for them to get on the counters. And I know once I had a friend staying with me, and she brought her cat. And while in the kitchen, I noticed the cat walked across my counter, and I had a gooseneck faucet, and the cat went under the faucet and scratched his back on my gooseneck faucet. So I also learned to wipe my faucet off before I use it when I had a guest with a cat.
Yeah, you could definitely, cats get in a litter box, and you don't want them walking across your countertop and then having food on it. So those are things that we need to make sure that we keep clean and sanitized. Now, Gail is going to do a poll question for us. She's going to pull the poll up, asking about your favorite Christmas movie. And their choices are Elf, White Christmas, Home Alone, and Christmas Story. So we'll give you a few minutes to fill those in. Okay, want to show the results? No. Okay. All right. So we just do that in there.
I can share with you though.
Share with me.
The Christmas Story by far is the winner.
Okay, Christmas Story is the winner. Okay. The next thing that we talk about in kitchen safety, after sanitation, we think about temperatures, because we want to make sure that we are keeping our food at a safe temperature. We have this beautiful display of vegetables and fruits here, and we have them on a bowl of ice. So this bowl will stay nice and cold to keep them at a cooler temperature so that bacteria can't grow on them. We also have ways of testing when we're cooking. So this particular type of thermometer will test up to here on the food. So if you have a burger or chicken breast, something kind of thin, You can test it with this digital probe thermometer. You also have these kind, and this one you can actually put inside a turkey, a ham, some large piece of meat, put this on the outside of the oven, and when you preset the temperature, it will tell you when the inside of that meat product has reached the proper temperature. Very important when you're having a large piece of meat. And then this one is the bimetallic stem thermometer, and these are things I use every day. You'll put it into the food up to this little dimple that it has right here. And then you will wait until the temperature stops to see if your food is at the right temperature. So what you'll do to test that is you'll put your thermometer into water, ice water, just to make sure that when it stops at 32. And if it's not at 32, then you adjust it with this little tool that comes with the sleeve that you keep it in. So you can adjust it to 32. And then you know it's calibrated correctly, because if it's not right, you're not getting the right temperature. So those are things that you can do. And this one I picked up at a local store, so you can get just any kind. They don't have to be expensive. They can be very inexpensive. And that way you can test your food temperature.
We do have a question from chat.
Yes, what's our question?
Well, just about seafood in general. What's a good proper temperature for like a baked fish?
About 135. You need to be opaque and flaky.
Thank you.
And let's say now that we're going to go ahead and ask about the thermometer on the poll question.
Okay,
Please, Gail.
here it comes. Let's see. Poll is launched. Okay. The answer is yes.
Oh, good.
That's
They're
great.
using their thermometers. Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that people are buying and using their thermometers just to make sure that their food is safe. Okay, now you're going to cut up vegetables. In this case, the sign today is going to cut up the vegetables. You know, if you have a dull knife, we're going to cut yourself. So making sure you have a sharp knife will really help. And this is what a knife that I own. Yeah, this particular sharpener has for this type of knife as well as the standard type of knife. You draw the knife through there. And that just hones it. And this particular type of knife also comes in this little sleeve. And when you put it in, as you pull it out, it also does that same thing. So now that I've done that, I'm going to wash it. And remember to handle your knives very carefully. We always have to be paying attention. Don't try to multitask when you have a knife in your hand. Okay, so we know that this knife is going to be good and sharp. Now, you want to show me how you hold the knife properly? Let's give it a try. All right. Yeah, I want my entire hand gripped around it. Yeah, you want your hand gripped here, but you're going to actually hold it here. Make sure, yeah, and get a good firm grip on it. All right. And then generally you're going to slice at the tip and then kind of rock through. So like that. So proper handling of the knife will help prevent you from, the knife blade from slipping will help prevent you from cutting yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the cucumber, and if you can see this in the camera or not, it's been a fork has been scraped down it to make some peelings. We have some indentions there, so I want you to watch when I cut this. And I'm just going to.
What about your other fingers?
I need to keep my knuckles, fingers bent like this. Keep my fingers away from it. Don't hold it like this. You want to keep your knuckles, your fingers straight down from your knuckles. Better that if you err and nip yourself, that you nip yourself on the knuckle and not cut the tip of your finger off. But if you're paying attention to what you're doing, keep your fingers back and your fingertips tucked. Stop there. And it's made a wonderful design.
So we have a beautiful fresh cucumber, which is so refreshing and full of moisture. And so today we have multiple vegetables. We have the cucumber and we have broccoli.
Same thing with the broccoli. I'm going to careful with the knife. cutting them into little florets for dipping in our dipping sauce that we're going to use. And all vegetables will work. You can use red and green because it's Christmas time. You can do all sorts of colors, and there are so many different colors of bell peppers, and there's several colors of cauliflower and broccoli, and of course tomatoes. Yes, and I love the tomatoes, and these are my favorite. However, I don't eat them whole because it seems like if you bite into them, you can squirt your neighbor or,
Yes,
or
I
ruin your
know.
linens. So I like to just take my tomatoes and cut them in half. Again, making sure I keep my fingers away from the blade. And then we have some lovely cauliflower here that I'm just going to try to slice up into the little parts as well. Of course, you're getting lots of things with bright colors, a lot of nutrients live in foods that are bright colored. And so if you get the big, bold, bright coloring, you're getting a lot of nutrients. Put some slices of our. This should be smell-o-vision because these veggies smell
They
so
do.
good.
They're very fresh. And very crispy.
Okay, so now we have an assortment of vegetables cut. Very nutritious. We can put them here on our plate. We have one, well, Sonia is putting one together. We did one ahead of time to show you. In times of COVID, normally we would have taken and made a big, beautiful platter. And people would just come along and use their own, like use tongs for each vegetable, pick up the vegetables. However, in times of COVID, the idea of doing that is going to have too much possible contamination. So what we did is have individual plates, and we went ahead, and the hostess is just putting the veggies on the plate. So each person in the family can come by and tell her what they want, and she would put those veggies on the plate. And then we have various different dressings. You can make your own dressing from scratch, or you can go ahead and use bottled. In busy holiday times, sometimes it's just too time consuming to do everything from scratch. So sometimes it's nice to have something that you can grab that's pre-made. And for a lot of kids, I noticed they pretty much are going to go for any vegetable if you can get ranch on it. And so here is our Christmas plate that's individual for each family member so that they're not cross-contaminating and getting things in a way that would end up causing us to be ill. Now, what's our, okay, so I'm going to talk real quickly about a thing called Fight Back. And that's fighting bacteria. So there are 4 principles. You are going to separate. So we wouldn't want any of these fresh vegetables that won't be cooked. They're going to be eaten raw. We don't want them near any kind of a meat product. So you're going to keep meats and vegetables separated. Then these are chilled or cold, so you want to keep them chilled. So this is why we did the ice bath under here. So you're going to separate, you're going to chill, and then of course our meats, we have our thermometers to test our meats to make sure that we cook them to the proper temperature. And then we want to make sure that all through the whole process, so time is a factor. You get foods on the table, people eat, you need to get food put back away as quickly as possible. And so that's the chill. So we're going to cook, we're going to clean, we sanitized everything, that's one of those. So it's cook, clean, separate, and chill. And if you do those things, taking your temperatures, doing the sanitizing, you're going to have a much safer meal with your family, any meal.
Okay, we have one question. Any opinion or fact that you can share about the commercial cleaners for produce?
They're not necessary because sometimes people think, I got to get everything dirty off of my food that comes from the store. And obviously, you know, I check all of my fruits and vegetables, so I've touched them. Somebody else has probably touched them. You think, oh, you do want to rinse them off. But usually using water just slightly warmer than the vegetables and running water at the faucet and run that water and rub off the items such as a pepper and then dry it with a paper towel, and that's going to be cleaned off. You can use some of those, but I don't like an aftertaste. And if you don't get that washed off, that's just another chemical on your food. And so just rinsing with running water is great. Okay. Sonia was going to talk about some of the other things about kind of the kitchen safety, things like working with hands at a hot stove and the dishwasher and things like that.
Yeah, so a few other tips in the kitchen. When you're cooking on your stove, you want to make sure that your pans, the handles are turned away from the edge of the stove. It's easy for you to bump it, spill it on yourself. It's easy for a child to come and grab the handle. So you want to make sure that this is your stove setting, that the handle is turned to the inside. Also, we do want to be very clean ourselves. You saw the hand washing, but I often use like a lint roller to try to get off any loose hair, anything that while I'm cooking might fall into my food. So I do that to prep. And I know when we're at home, we get really comfortable, but cooking without shoes on is really not a safe thing, because if you drop something hot or, heaven forbid, one of these very sharp knives, you're going to get a serious injury. So please wear your shoes, even in your own kitchen at home. One of the other things that we talked about around the holidays is the dishwasher. Some of you may have one, some of you may not. I only use mine occasionally, especially when I'm cooking larger meals. But I've noticed, and I've been in friends' homes that have done this, like we all like to pre-rinse our dishes, scrape them and rinse them off before we put them in. You can drip water on the floor as you're transferring the dishes from the rinsing part to the loading of the dishwasher. I once was going to put a dish in the dishwasher, walking towards it, and hit that water and slid until my shins hit the door that was down. So I got both shins right across the front. So be careful around your dishwasher. You also don't put knives in a dishwasher unless the manufacturer says that it's okay, but often our handles are made such that the dishwasher is not friendly to them, not good for our knives. And you also want to watch how you load utensils. Even a butter knife, you can still get cut with a butter knife. So you want to be careful how you load these into your dishwasher, that it's not positioned up. So when you reach in there, you can get stuck by a fork, cut by a knife. And you want to pay attention with a dishwasher that's open too, because if you have small children or your pets come by, you don't want them to become injured because they access an open dishwasher. Let's see, was there anything else that we talked about we want to make sure folks at home knew?
Well, if you're not using the dishwasher, and a lot of times right before I start a meal, I get a container in the sink or close up the sink and get hot soapy water in it. So all the time that I'm cooking and prepping things, I'm continuing to wash things. But I never put knives down into my dishwater because you can't see it. If someone comes in and puts a knife and I reach in there, I'm gonna get cut on that knife. So knives never get put down into that dishwater or in the dishwasher. So
right, you can see we used one earlier, and it was right here at the edge of the sink, not down in the sink where we were putting our dishes.
okay, so question.
Yes. So for children, can you think of some simple activities for children to do in the kitchen? I know, sometimes the little ones like kindergarten or, early elementary want to participate. Maybe you don't want them handling that big knife that you showed earlier. You want to give some tips for the kids?
Yeah, one thing that you could do is you could pre-cut these, and then those little plastic knives that you get, the plastic cutlery, you could give them a little cutting board or a platter, and they could just cut those with a little plastic knife, because that's too big for their mouth anyway, so they could cut one in half. And they can also help to cut some of the other vegetables. Sometimes it's a little bit harder for them, but even those little plastic knives have enough edge on them that they can help cut some of the vegetables. They can also spoon the dressing into the cup. And they can also help put their own vegetables on their own plate.
And the children always love helping set a pretty table too,
Right.
especially if you're doing something for holiday. They will love to set your plates.
They can help set the plates out, napkins, forks, because this is holiday time. You'll probably have a festive tablecloth. You might have a decoration or a centerpiece on your table, and then they can go ahead and set everything around. Or if you're running a buffet, they can set the little plates and the napkins and that sort of thing at the buffet.
I had my niece to write the names for the family, to make them little place cards too. She had fun decorating that. She sat at a table next to me and colored and placed those, and I spelled names for her and stuff. So
that they can do with markers, they can do it with those pretty gold and silver markers. So yeah, there's things that they can do for that. They can actually help make some little cute decorations, or they can make some little Christmas decorations and use them as little party favors. It could be done ahead of time. Okay, we have another poll for you.
I know we do.
What's the question?
Good one.
And this is your favorite Christmas song?
favorite holiday meal?
Oh,
What is your
favorite holiday-
favorite food for your
Okay,
holiday
favorite
meal?
food for your holiday meal?
I don't see all of the above.
Gail needs the all of the
Oh, we
above.
need all of the
category. She put
above.
the all of the
All of the
above, yes.
Shoot, didn't put the all of the above on there.
I wonder how many of our holiday meals here in Indiana will do the persimmon desserts.
I don't know. They should watch our persimmon video that we did to see how to do persimmon cookies and cooking.
Oh, pecan pie, ham.
Oh.
Okay, yum.
Mhm.
That's two of my favorites,
Right.
pecan pie and ham. That's what I had last Thanksgiving, actually.
What's
All
our
right. Explain to me though something. What exactly is a Yule log?
A Yule log is a cake that you make that's like a little sponge cake, and you've made it to roll. And so it's real soft and tender, and so hot you roll it up. And then as soon as it cools a little bit, you roll it back and you fill it with like a pastry cream, and then roll it back up again and put frosting on it. And so it looks like a little log, like you put in a fire in your fireplace. So it's called a Yule log, which Christmas log.
Sounds delicious.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it looks like ham and pecan pie is gonna be the winner.
Woohoo! Ham and
Yay.
pecan pie.
I'm in.
I'm in.
Of course, if you're in the north, it's pecan pie. If you're from the south, they're going to tell you it's pecan pie. So just depends on where you are. Okay, do we have any questions from the audience? Anything else in the chat box? Do you have any other comments that both of you would like to make?
Just please practice safety in the kitchen. It could ruin your holiday, so be mindful. Take these tips to heart and be safe in the kitchen.
That's super want to be in the emergency room during Christmas.
Happy holidays, stay out of the ER.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us and making Health and Human Sciences part of your healthy holiday.
Have a very blessed holiday. We appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the survey link is in the chat if you all would not mind to complete the voluntary survey.
Thank you. We do appreciate if you do the survey.